Hey there. This is kind of weird for me. I'm not used to recording things without a script, so you're gonna have to forgive me if I kind of like trip over my words. But yeah, hi, I'm Ymir. Lovely to meet you outside of an audio roleplay, I guess. Sorry, I'm so awkward. I reached over 1,000 subscribers, which I'm blown away by. I cannot believe that happened. I'm still kind of processing, but I really want to thank you all so much. I think we're at like 1,200 now or something. Insane. Crazy. I cannot believe that happened. Never in my kind of like wildest dreams did I ever think I'd reach numbers like that. Like, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can only say it so many times without it sounding annoying, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for reaching over 1,000 subscribers, I asked if you guys had any questions, so that's kind of my plan for this video, just to answer some questions and then maybe give you some updates and teasers towards the end about what's coming next. Also, as kind of like a blanket statement, if I mispronounce anyone's name, it is in no way intentional. I'm so sorry. Please, please, please forgive me. So, Deriz35 asks, what made you start your channel? So I was doing audios on Reddit for a little bit, and I'm gonna like preface that by saying my first couple of audios that I ever did, all deleted because they were awful, in my opinion. I thought they were so bad, I thought they were really badly performed, edited, everything. But eventually I joined a Discord full of really, really nice people that also do audio roleplays. And one of my good buddies, Lyra, was doing YouTube videos with her audios. And it kind of hadn't really twigged me that I should put audios outside Reddit until then. I don't know why, it just didn't come to mind. So I was like, hey, I'll give that a go. And so the very first script I ever wrote was for this channel. It was the very first video I did, and it was like a little bartender kind of cozy audio, I guess. Easy Peasy Dora 5939 asked, aside from voice acting and amazing scriptwriting and editing, have you ever been a beta reader for a project on the internet? First of all, thank you very much for the amazing scriptwriting and editing. I think I'm getting pretty good at editing. Scriptwriting is still very new to me, but I do really appreciate that. In terms of beta reading, yeah, because I'm in a server with people that do this as well, sometimes people put up things and ask, can you listen to this? Can you read this? Does this sound okay? And I also do it a lot with like my besties as well. So like Raccoon Leela, for example, me and her will send each other our audios back and forth and be like, does this sound okay? Is this sound effect okay? Does this make sense? And same with scripts and stuff like that. So I've been very fortunate to make friends that we can kind of trust each other with stuff and be honest with our feelings. And yeah, it's just really nice to be able to help each other and be helped. Such as Sarcasm said, congrats on 1K. What drew you to ASMR and decide to try it out? What makes a script go from a maybe to a must for you? And do you have any plans or ideas for where you want to take your channel in the future? First off, thank you very much, Such as Sarcasm. Secondly, the kind of thing that drew me to ASMR was I found it by accident. I've always been like really interested in like podcasts and that kind of stuff, and I remember searching, I can't remember exactly what I searched, but on Reddit something came up and it was what oh my god, can't speak. But I remember looking up something on Reddit, I can't remember what it was, but an audio roleplay came up. But it was just kind of like this little safe for work, going on a date with your friend type thing. And I remember listening to it and being like, that's really cool. And the person that I did, like I said, I can't remember, and I'm so sorry I can't, but it was really immersive, it was really sweet, and I was just like, oh my god, I love this. And initially I was way too scared and self-conscious to even try doing that. So I was trying to do like auditions on Casting Call Club and trying to be a voice actor doing that route. But eventually, you know, you kind of audition for a lot of stuff. You get some, you don't get some. And I still wanted to record stuff. And then I thought back to it and I was like, oh yeah, well, how do people do that? And so I found, I think the first subreddit I ever found was Audio Candy. Shout out to them. And the first script I ever filled was like going on a fake date with your friend at like a cat cafe. It was really sweet. I just did a really bad job of it. In terms of what makes a script go from a maybe to a must for me, I think it's really like, I'll kind of decide in the first couple of minutes, like, is this something I think I could perform reasonably well? Do I think I could do the sound effects and the soundscaping? And could I make it sound immersive and believable? And if I don't get that in the first couple of minutes, I'll be like, maybe this script isn't for me. Now, sometimes I've been wrong. I've read something and be like, I don't think so. And then I've come back to it like a while later and been like, no, yeah, I think I could do that. So it really kind of depends. Recently, I've been writing my own stuff, but I'm still looking to fill things as well. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. And thirdly, to answer, do I have any plans or ideas for where I want to go in the future? My kind of big ideas are like Hearts in Hyperspace, the newest video I put out of like this really immersive audio. And I would like series of like going on adventures, not just like a single audio. Like in Hearts in Hyperspace, I have the whole thing planned out of us like going across the galaxy, fighting the Imperium, and you, the listener, learning to like fight with the Aurelian blades and getting in like crazy spaceship battles and stuff like that. And then down the road, I'm starting like a mini production company with my best friend Raccoon Leela called Lemire Productions, and we plan on doing like a big D&D series of like roleplay audios. So there's that's kind of where I'd like to go. I'd like to make a big, impactful, multi-part series that you can't get anywhere else. But we'll see. It takes a lot of editing to try and make even an episode, so series is obviously a huge commitment. And I do work full-time. Brighton1138 asks, would you do a werewolf roleplay in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely I would. Like the Minotaur one, I was really self-conscious about that one, especially when I uploaded it and was like, oh Jesus, I was like grunting and making like growls and stuff like that. And then people liked it a lot. And then because people liked it, it made part 2 way easier to do because I was like, no, people like this, I can do this. And so I was like doing the growls in the mic, like, like that kind of stuff, like, and it was good. And like, sorry, I'm getting too excited and emphatic about things. I love talking about audios. The idea of doing a werewolf is really cool because not only do you have like the growls and the deep voice and that kind of stuff, you can like soundscape a werewolf transformation of like the bones cracking and the fur growing, and oh, it just sounds so fucking cool. Short answer, yes, I would love to do a werewolf roleplay, and I'm sorry for getting ridiculously excited about that. I'll do it in the future, I promise you that. Aquarius Rose 5621 asks, I love the Minotaur videos. Think you could do one of the Phantom of the Opera's Eric in the future? I've never thought about it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen Phantom of the Opera. I'm so sorry. I know the kind of basic premise of like the Phantom and doing the, well, first I'm not gonna like be very upfront. I ain't singing, ain't happening. No one wants to hear that, trust me. But the idea of doing like, like a obsessive theater performer type personality is appealing. I like the idea. I'm not saying no. If I did it, I probably wouldn't just do the Phantom of the Opera. I'd write it myself and try and go a bit crazy with it. But thank you for your question. I hope that made sense. Soleil's Lament, once again, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name, said, hey, congratulations, you deserve it. I got a couple questions, bear with me here. No problem, and thank you very much for the congratulations. Do you like musicals? Better yet, do you like singing? Love musicals. I think they're great. One I've been obsessed with for the past couple of weeks has been Epic the Musical. If you haven't listened to it, you really, really should. It's so fucking good. And do I like singing? I love singing. I'm not good at it, but I love it. I will just be walking around the house just belting out music and like singing in at the top of my voice. And thank God no one can hear me because It's not good, but I really like doing it. What style of clothing do you gravitate towards? So, I don't know why, but I kind of just gravitate towards black clothing. I'm like wearing, as I record this, black t-shirt, black jeans, black socks, black shoes. I just really like the color black. It's not my favorite color, I just really like it on me. I remember like when I was younger, I'd wear a lot of like chains and rings and stuff like that. So maybe it's kind of like carrying over from my younger days. I'm not old, by the way. I'm just, I was younger at one point, shockingly. What is your favorite animal? I am a big capybara lover. I think they are the cutest little fuckers, and I want one. Obviously, Ireland isn't their natural habitat, so I wouldn't have one as a pet, but I did see some in a zoo, and I lost my damn mind. I love them so much. I think they're the cutest. Oh, I think they're so cute. I love them so much. I just want to hug one. Do you know any other languages aside from English? I think I barely speak English very well, to be honest, and it is like my natural language. Natural? That's not the word. What's the word? First language? That's it. There you go. Good job, Ymir. So I'm Irish. I speak very little Irish because we don't actually speak Irish in Ireland. I can ask you how you are in Irish, like Conas atá tú, Tá mé go maith gur mágat. I speak a little German because I studied it in school, like Wie geht's, prima. I'm trying to think of like something to say in German off the top of my head, and it's not coming, so you'll just have to believe me that I speak like a tiny bit of German. And final question from Soleus. Do you know you're in the top 10 ASMR artists of all time? Proven fact, because I know so. I don't... If it's your personal top 10, I am honored and delighted, and I can't thank you enough for that. Top 10, I'll believe you. I think you're lying to me, but I'll believe you. Thank you so much. Janice D4F says, here's a random fact. Did you know that the reason it's mainly male Newcastle big boy spiders that you have to worry about is because their venom evolved to attack our nervous system because they started running into vertebrates in their hunts for mates. And females don't go on those, and those never evolved that kind of venom. They're also the largest funnel web spider in the world and the most venomous of all spiders. Well, that's horrifying. Thanks, Janice. And finally, Alice Archer has a couple of questions, so I'm going to try and get those answered. I'd like to know what was the road that led to starting your channel. Were you always a creative person? Do you have experience in writing or performing? Or maybe you're a tech geek and like creating sound effects and editing audios was the thing that got you interested in content creation in the first place? How long did you have the idea of starting your channel brewing before you actually did it? And were your close loved ones supportive or judgmental? So I kind of answered like why I started the channel. In terms of me, was I always a creative person? I guess. I always liked drawing and stuff like that, and I did digital media in college where I was like using Photoshop and Illustrator and Adobe Dreamweaver to make websites and stuff like that. But after college, I kind of just worked regular jobs like stores and eventually like doing admin stuff. I am quite techie. But yeah, I've always liked the idea of being creative. I've never had kind of like outlets for it. So this has been really nice. In terms of like me being a tech geek and creating my own sound effects, sadly, no, I don't create my own sound effects, but I do mash a lot together to try and get the sounds that I want. Like if I want to make it sound like someone's getting into a car, there will be like a pulling sound effect of the belt going across, then the click, and then the keys turning, and then the car starting, and that's just me like putting sound effect after sound effect after sound effect in front of each other to try and make it sound like it is what is happening. Like if you were to hear it isolated without ever reading the script, you'd know what was happening. I could geek out about audio for days. Please, just I'll shut up now. In terms of how long did I have the idea of starting my channel, like I said, it was like I saw other voice actors doing it, and I did leave it for a while because I was like, one, I didn't like my content. I'm not the most confident person, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better. and were like my loved ones, close, or my like close friends, supportive or judgmental. So like, I don't have a lot of people that I tell that I do this, bar like obviously my voice acting friends. And that's not like shame, it's just like I wouldn't really know how to describe what I do without sounding insane to them. Because like, you know, people that listen to this, including myself, I listen to this. I listen to audio roleplays. Trying to explain what they are to someone is kind of hard because, you know, trying to explain what they are to someone is kind of hard, and it just seems like it would be a really long and potentially awkward conversation. But like all my voice actor friends, all the people I've met, everyone on the channel, including like you listening, have been incredibly supportive. So that's kind of all that matters to me. What's your creative process? How do you pick a script to fill? Do you have a theme or vibe in mind for searching for something that suits you, or do you just browse various scripts of what you personally like, whatever the topic may be? In other words, what comes first, the topic, atmosphere, or the text itself? That's a really good question, actually. The thing that I get inspired by a lot, surprisingly, is music. So sometimes I'll be listening to something and I'll be like, this sounds like this. Like, I remember when I was doing the Yandere AI video, I was listening to an artist on Spotify called Angel Mina, and hers is like and her music is like Yandere AI, obsessively in love with you, but the songs are like really good and really catchy and really techno. And I was listening to that and I was like, oh, that'd be sick to do as an audio. I would love to do like an AI that's like obsessed with you, and maybe make it multiple parts and have it go crazier and crazier and eventually get like a body. And that's kind of what I teased at the end of the first part. But like sometimes I will just be reading through scripts, and if I like the vibe, I'm usually just like, yeah, save it. I have so many scripts saved. You would not believe how many I have saved that I want to fill. I'll never get to them all, especially because I'm now like also writing my own things. But yeah, it's usually like a topic, a character, vibes that I like, and then I'll just do it. I hope that answered that question. And finally, if you were completely free in choosing themes for your audios and level of explicitness, what kind of audios would you be creating? That's an interesting one. So like obviously you can probably tell from Hearts in Hyperspace and some of my other audios, I'm a big nerd. I like making nerdy things. I like the idea of basically creating like roleplay Star Wars, which is what Hearts in Hyperspace is. And I've got other things I want to do with like huge fantasy settings and like fighting big monsters and shit like that. And I don't know if that's what people want to hear. Like a lot of people just want the yandere stuff, or they want a boyfriend experience, and like I'll still keep making those because I enjoy making them and clearly people like listening to them. But in terms of what I want to make like epic stuff. I want to make big stuff where like we're going on adventures, as I said before. And as for level of explicitness, that's a interesting one. It's something I've thought about for a while. And like, if for those of you that do follow me on Reddit, you know I've done narratively explicit things on Reddit. Never simulated. And I like them. I like telling a story. I like the idea of that. In terms of like being explicit myself in an audio, that's kind of different for me. That's maybe just a confidence issue or thinking I wouldn't be good at it. But it is something I'm going to try out. And that will be on Reddit only, obviously, because YouTube would destroy my channel if I were to ever post something like that. Finally, Burn Ritrix says, yes, congratulations, you're heading for the big things, buckle up and enjoy the ride. Thank you so much, Burn. I really appreciate you. And that's kind of all the questions. Thank you all so much for asking them. I really, really genuinely appreciate them. And it was nice to just kind of have a chat with you, have a conversation, and I hope we can do it again in the future. Now that we're getting, like, you know, past that part, let's talk about what's next. So Hearts in Hyperspace, obviously that's my big project at the moment, the ASMR Star Wars, ASMR Wars? Whatever. That's like big focus, but there is still things coming out as well that I have in the editing room, as I call it. It's still just my office, but I like to consider it something different. You've got the AI Part 2 one. We've got, I think, 2 different Yandere ones. I've got the explicit one for Reddit. And then there's like a couple other projects that it's not my place to talk about them just yet, but there will be some other big things coming down the line. I've also got some comments of people talking about a Patreon, about that kind of stuff, and I'm not against it. I feel like if I were to make a Patreon, I'd want to make it worth it, and so maybe like when I have a couple things like pre-edited and ready to go, maybe it'll just be like, hey, if you join me on Patreon, you can listen to them early, that kind of stuff. And again, maybe, this is a big maybe, if I were to be comfortable doing more explicit things, maybe that would be Patreon exclusive. Who knows? But for now, I'm happy just with the channel as it is. I am now a YouTube partner. There's ads on the videos and they're only playing at the start just to make sure they don't ruin flow. And I get like maybe a cent or 2 every time someone watches an ad. There's also like YouTube memberships. I think they're enabled. Listen, this is all new to me, so I don't know. And then there's the option of people like tipping on videos and stuff like that. So like if you want to support the channel that way, feel free. There's never any expectation or pressure. It's your money, and make sure you take care of yourself first, always. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Jesus, I'm looking at the audio in my second screen. It's so long. I'm so sorry. If you made it all the way to the end, I love you. You're fantastic. You're like, wow. You could listen to me talk for ages, apparently. And I appreciate you for that immensely. But thank you again so much for over 1,000 subscribers. I really, really appreciate you guys, more than I can put into words. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully staying with you for a long time. Thanks so much. Look after yourselves.